In 1984, one four-word question aired so often that Wendy's later estimated it interrupted American television more than 750,000 times that year alone. In 1989, a single cry for help from an elderly woman was so unintentionally funny that it became the most impersonated line in the history of advertising. And in 1980, a 15-year-old actress delivered one sentence in a pair of jeans that got the ad pulled from daytime television in several markets. This was the 1980s, a decade that turned the commercial break into its own kind of chaos. Some ads sold a product, some ads sold a jingle nobody could unlearn, and a few ads made every kid in the room want to sink into the couch cushions the second a parent walked in. Almost none of us thought any of it was strange at the time. In 1980, Calvin Klein put 15-year-old Brooke Shields in front of a camera for a single line. You want to know what comes between me and my Calvins? Nothing. The pitch was simple. Designer jeans needed a designer feeling, and nothing said desire like a whisper straight into the lens. The reality was that the ad ran everywhere, including dinner hour, sandwiched between the evening news and prime time. Parents didn't know where to look. Kids didn't know where to look. Several CBS affiliates pulled it after complaints poured in. The controversy did what controversy always does to a product. Sales of Calvin Klein jeans reportedly jumped by roughly 300% within months. The most uncomfortable 15 seconds on television in 1980 turned out to be one of the most profitable. In 1984, Wendy's put three elderly women in front of a comically small hamburger bun from a competitor and had one of them growl a single question: "Where's the beef?" The pitch was a jab at fast food chains, padding their burgers with bun instead of meat. The reality was that the line escaped the commercial entirely. It showed up in a presidential debate that same year, on T-shirts on the floor of Congress, in the mouths of people who had never once ordered a Wendy's hamburger. Clara Peller, the woman who said it, was 79 years old and had been a manicurist before the ad made her famous. Wendy's sales climbed by more than 30% that quarter. Nobody in America could hear the word beef for the rest of the decade without finishing the sentence. In 1986, Isuzu introduced America to Joe Isuzu, a car salesman in a cheap suit who looked straight into the camera and lied. He'd claimed the truck could tow a battleship, or that it came with a free trip to Mars, while subtitles quietly corrected him at the bottom of the screen. The pitch was self-aware comedy in an industry famous for straight-faced exaggeration. The reality was that people liked Joe more than they liked most real salesmen. He tested so well that Isuzu kept him running for years, even after some viewers admitted they couldn't remember a single actual fact about the cars. The lying spokesman became one of the most trusted faces in advertising, which was either the joke or the entire point. If any of these jingles are already stuck in your head, drop it in the comments and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. In 1989, Life Alert aired a commercial with an elderly woman lying on her bathroom floor, pressing a pendant and saying the words that would outlive the product itself. "I've fallen and I can't get up." The pitch was medical alert technology, a legitimate and useful service for seniors living alone. The reality was that the line landed somewhere between drama and comedy, and America chose comedy. Late-night hosts repeated it, sitcoms parodied it, kids on playgrounds fell down on purpose just to say it. Life Alert's own president later admitted the company knew within weeks that they had accidentally created a punchline instead of a slogan. Decades later, most people can still recite the line perfectly and couldn't tell you the actual name of the device. In 1986, a stop-motion raisin with sunglasses and white gloves started dancing across American television screens to a Motown cover of I heard it through the grapevine. The California Raisin Advisory Board had a real problem, an unglamorous wrinkled fruit nobody was excited about, and a real budget to fix it. The pitch worked almost too well. The California Raisins became a merchandising empire with dolls, lunchboxes, a Saturday morning cartoon, and a Christmas special, while actual raisin sales barely moved. A generation of kids owned a California Raisins backpack without ever eating a box of raisins. The commercial became more famous than the product it was built to sell. In the mid-1980s, Calgon bath beads promised one thing above all else: an escape. A frazzled mother, surrounded by a ringing phone, a crying baby, and a dog underfoot, would close her eyes and say the line, "Calgon, take me away." The pitch was a 5-minute vacation in a bathtub. The reality was that the phrase got used so often, so earnestly, in so many households, that it became shorthand for any moment of parental exhaustion, whether or not a bathtub was involved. Say those 3 words to anyone who grew up in that decade and watched them finish the sentence without thinking. It sold bath beads. What it actually sold was permission to be tired. In 1984, Folgers ran an ad where a waiter secretly swapped a restaurant's fresh brewed coffee for instant crystals, then watched satisfied customers rave about the taste without noticing the difference. The pitch was that instant coffee had quietly gotten good enough to fool anyone. The reality was that the campaign ran for years in dozens of variations, always with the same twist. Someone unknowingly served instant coffee and loving it. Viewers started watching just to see who would get switched next: a fancy restaurant, a bride's wedding, a gourmet dinner party. Whether anyone was actually fooled in real life is another question, but the secretly switched to Folgers Crystals gag became one of the longest-running bits in American advertising. Tell me in the comments which one of these your own parents actually bought. In the mid-1980s, 2 grey-haired men named Frank and Ed sat on a porch and talked directly to the camera about their homemade wine cooler, Bartles and Jamies. The pitch leaned entirely on folksy sincerity, 2 regular guys who happened to bottle their own drink. The reality was that Frank and Ed were actors. The company was owned by a major beer conglomerate, and the ads' slow, deadpan, slightly awkward pacing was the joke the whole time. Every commercial ended the same way. Thank you for your support. It became one of the most quoted sign-offs of the decade, delivered completely straight-faced by 2 men in flannel who had never grown a grape in their lives. For years, Procter & Gamble ran the same commercial premise on a loop. A grocery store manager named Mr. Whipple would catch customers gently squeezing the toilet paper on the shelf and scold them on camera. "Please don't squeeze the charmin." The pitch was that the paper was so soft, shoppers couldn't resist touching it. The reality was that Mr. Whipple squeezed it himself the moment the customers left, every single time, in nearly every single ad. The character became one of the most recognized faces in American advertising, and the actor who played him, Dick Wilson, reportedly filmed the same scolding scene more than 500 times across 2 decades. Few commercials have ever built an entire personality around hypocrisy this openly, and gotten away with it. Every kid who grew up near a television in the 1980s can still hum 4 notes before the words even start. "I don't want to grow up, I'm a Toys R Us kid." The pitch was simple, a jingle so catchy it turned a toy store into a feeling rather than a location. The reality was that the song worked on adults too. Parents who hated every other commercial jingle of the decade would still catch themselves humming this one in the car, against their own will, years after their kids had outgrown the store entirely. Few pieces of 1980s advertising did less selling and more permanent brain residence than 4 bars of a jingle written for children. Late at night, between reruns, American television ran a different kind of commercial entirely, the mail-order kind. Time Life's Mysteries of the Unknown series promised UFOs, ghosts, and ancient prophecy delivered straight to the mailbox. One hardcover volume a month, cancel anytime. The pitch was mystery itself, a low, dramatic narrator promising answers television news would never give you. The reality was that almost nobody cancelled any time. The introductory volume arrived for a suspiciously low price, and the ones after it arrived at full price, whether you remembered ordering them or not. Millions of these books ended up on basement shelves across the country, unread. After Chapter 2, next to a VCR, nobody had figured out how to stop blinking 1200 either. That was the 1980s. A jingle about not wanting to grow up. A man squeezing toilet paper he told everyone not to touch. A raisin with sunglasses moonwalking across a kitchen table. A fallen grandmother who became a punchline forever. None of it was subtle. All of it worked. The 1980s treated the 30-second commercial like a stage, and it produced characters, catchphrases, and cringe that outlived the products themselves by decades. If one of these brought a memory back, leave it in the comments. And if there's a commercial I left out, tell me. There are plenty more we haven't quite forgotten yet. Subscribe so the next one finds you when it comes out.